taking a chance. You're jumping into the deep end. And so far, I'm not going to say it's not working, but it's not that potent piece that I feel like the Sharks were missing to become that next level team. And as time goes on, I think you are right. I think we're really going to start to see something amazing made or somebody shuffled out, because you can't have an opper in nowadays play. You'll hear it 1,000 times everywhere you go. You can't have an opper who's not the star of the show or in that discussion for a team.
And I don't want to hammer that point too far in, but when Doc and Koala are two players that are really putting up all that they possibly can to win a majority of these games, it just feels a little bit disheartening to look at the scoreboard and see him as your fourth, if not fifth, lowest rated player. And now, seeing as the game is live, speaking of AWP players, it is Zevi who returns to Fluxo that we got to see. Not his debut last night, but as far as we've seen in recent history, some of his earliest games back into the fold. He looked here and there, but certainly giving a run for his money to a player like Nyx in this game, I can only imagine, as it's incision made over towards this A site. The opener now is no smoke search to the ground. It's Pyria who's trying to get lucky with a jumping shot, but as he plants his feet down, he actually gets planted himself, as Nyx will quickly dispatch of him.
And he quickly puts his name on the board and says, I'm still here. Whether it's an op, whether it's a pistol, I'll be showing you who's boss. However, I'm surprised to say Fluxo still seem to want to test the waters at A. Right now, Art, exploring solo, calls for the assistance of Molzin. They both line up around the bomb train, and right now it's just a battle of Nyx and them two. You've got one man stuck toward L. I don't really know how you're going to get out of this, but the follows come through in time, bought just a little more. RDN, not enough. It's down to a 2-on-2. The health still heavily favors the likes of 9F until that headshot comes through. So Koala, one of the younger pieces to the puzzle that seems to be the Sharks as of late, is tasked with maybe not a ton, but more than he'd like as he continues to tiptoe around the bomb train, hoping for anything to come his way. It's slow. It's a change of pace that he's not ready for. Art peeks out, and he's had a baller of a round. You're right. Ace coming out from the IGL, and he was, I'd say, notably absent yesterday on Anubis, so it's a good thing to have him here early.
That was so weird. He played ring around the rosy with every player on the Shark squad, made his way around the backsides of Red, in through camera, back through Hell, and then all the way back to Pop to where re-aggression in towards the site. Catches player not aware of where they had gone. If they'd give him the slip towards B, it wasn't the case. And now we go into our next, to where a full investment from Sharks trying to keep handy with this, knowing they'd killed at least 3 and there was no plant from Fluxo prior to that. They can be relatively competitive, and that much they're aware of, but with the lack of utility following the singular smoke that they had, this is where the gunfights are going to have to become a little more grouped up in number. Clumped are the Sharks players going to have to be in order to really trade effectively, let alone gain map control long term. The smoke will soon fade, and Fluxo are going to have a field day.
I feel like this can be a really hard map to play on SMGs sometimes, especially nowadays that it's a lot more open toward that A site. But even though it's limited, you still have a lot of power behind them, so you can't entirely write it off. So far, though, looks to be an A attempt for Fluxo yet again, back-to-back, they say. And Nyx's scout may actually take first contact. Just a quick warning shot into the belt of Zevi. He'll fall to 17. But now is where the SMGs really got to start shining. Around the bomb train, that crossfire is swiftly broken apart. And already it feels like the Force by Dreams of the Sharks seems to fall away with it.
Koala with full HP on an angle that could very well give him some cash if they look to go waltzing down and deeper in towards their spawn area. Perhaps one of these two players can get something for it. But seeing how low each and every Fluxo player are, I think, especially considering that next round is effectively going to be a bonus, it'd be best to go for the save outside of maybe Molzin. He's the one with the SMG. He can really give them a couple extra bucks to utilize, to which a Mac 10 being reinvested is not going to be the end of worlds. He can buy an AK if he really does go down, but seconds to spare before the finale, and he spots him in the grass. He's just uncovered, and well done in the dying embers of round 2 for him to get that one through. It's honestly going to be bigger than even he maybe will know, because he gets to play up against some seriously weakened opponents. Lessened on head armor, they're going to be soft targets. And I want to see what their game plan is with that weapon still in their arsenal, actually. Overall, I think that Art is a caller who can make use of those kinds of situations pretty well, typically. So,
yeah. You know, you kind of remind me with that. I almost wonder if this game could be a potential big struggle for Nyx, because, I mean, I'm thinking about all of what we've said coming into this. He's young, he's I'd say a little inconsistent is the way to put it. And you're looking at a team like Fluxo who are traditionally very aggressive, very good at manipulating opening duels, know how to force somebody into a spot they shouldn't be, and know how to deal with oppers.
Oh.
You combine all of that against a potentially young, inexperienced opper. I really wonder what his success rate is going to be like.
Yeah, trying to do what he can in the back of default, Gafolo. I mean, one was all I really anticipated him being able to find, and as both players are side by side, it's 2 kills in total. It's not going to be the most difficult of blows to recuperate from if you're Fluxo. As mentioned, they've got so much money built up from the bonus. They could invest in the op if they would have wanted to, but no, they're going to stick with the rifles out for just one more time. The next round, they'll be fine no matter the outcome of this, and seeing as Nyx gets his sniper rifle, we'll see what all the talk's about. He sacrificed utility in matter to get there, so it's going to have to be an investment well put. Otherwise, things might look a little bit dicey. But here come a little bit of a split moment, actually. Zevy's going to set up a pair to go through T-Con early, perhaps. If not early, then awaiting the arrival of the two who go towards Pop Dog. But front side of that smoke, I think it was actually just the gap enough to where he had full vision. Pyria finds them their opening frag, to which Doc feels a little bit desperate to try and slide back in towards it. But there's nothing that can be done. Is Art actually 10-0?
Wait, oh my god.
Oh, he had an ace, that's right. I mean, that'll add up.
I mean,
even so.
I can't believe you've just cursed him. You've just cursed him. I mean,
No, watch.
I'm watching. Yeah, man. What's the rebuttal for that one?
Ooh.
Yeah. Oof. Looks like Tony's still got a bit to learn. Or he just wants the Sharks to do well, which, you know what, I understand. And right now it's not looking too hot for them, even with that previously made comment. So, 2-on-2 with not a lot of utility beyond the molly and nade, and no kits, most notably with how big of a sight this is to re-clear, man. I feel like that's such an underrated thing people don't talk about nowadays. There's so many different angles, and Kai, he only needs one of them. Flicks around, it's a complete turn of 180 degrees from Z to CT spawn. But he still makes it look easy with only 4 bullets out of that Galil.
That actually did look really smooth. Probably felt pretty satisfying, too. Those are the kinds of kills where you're like, oh yeah, I'm feeling it. Even if it was just his first and second kill, those are the kinds of kills that get you into a game, really, whereas everyone else was picking their load up. It's you who have to send out actually a little bit of a cute smoke there. I think that's towards Z.
Spawn?
Oh, no, it's for Sandwich?
Oh, my God. Dude, that's sick. That's sick.
Sandwich blocks hell also.
Oh, my God. They just get to go all the way out to the red train off of that.
I'm gonna go back on the demo on that.
That's sick. That was sick. And it didn't even look that tricky, too. Right? Just lining it up from the M. But his teammates are with him. And now the MP9s. Even though they're not necessarily used for long range, you give them enough time. You give them House of Cookie, you know what's going to happen in Nyx. He's been set up for a potential huge round. It's a P250, sure. But look at the health. That health isn't really going to matter on Zevi. It's Pyria I'm worried about. One good body shot, one wrong move, one wrong look, one good timing. And Nyx will have himself around on a silver platter. Pyria split between which angle to take a fight between. He has to find one of them. He has to figure it out. He's letting Zevi be the prong to find all the info, but in the meanwhile, he's the one that's been dropped. Now Zevi just misses the window of opportunity. Nyx
doesn't know.
When does he expect this? When do you know? When do you turn around to this? You don't. And it looks like Zevi will have it lined up, but holy, that was nerve-wracking.
That was still a pretty close adjustment there from Zevi nonetheless. I mean, if he was even just a millimeter over the top, he would have given him a haircut and been met with his maker with no time left to fire another shot. There's 5 rounds, though, from Fluxo on the T side of Train, and another smoke set up from Spawn side from Zevi. That's not a hard lineup at all. I could cook that.
This wasn't even the one he did, though.
The
other one was easier. It was just the top of the M.
Might be
it was so easy.
Different spawn, same smoke?
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty banging. Gafolo tries to drop utility to get himself an up-close and personal duel. No molly, all flashes, double down. He's going to have to push in even further beyond, though. It's Zevi through the smoke who will clip him and needed them to be able to do that if they wanted to pull themselves in any facet back into this round that was already looking dreepy? I was going to say dreary.
I mean, a few rounds ago, you mentioned how it looked like they were playing with a hot hand. It's not just one player, it was the entire team of Flux. So I love this round from the Sharks, abruptly getting in their face and saying, you aren't going to keep running us down from T-Con, and it works wonders. Sure, it comes with the back of Gafolo getting 2 kills, the second one even more difficult on Art, but It's a round that was much needed to put a very, very quick end to whatever Fluxo were throwing at them, and now Kai just grasping at straws, really. Any kill you get here is beneficial. He's got the bomb on his back, so one kill in the right direction could lead him into a blissful B-site plant. That's a nice headshot on RDN, but cost him about most of his spares, and with 4 HP left to his name, it's not really going to be in his favor, is it? Now, 40 seconds could paint a different story, but you've got way longer rotations now that you can't go down ladder, getting to pop that easily. I mean, just means you're going to be eating away vital seconds, and honestly, at this point, you almost feel like he's going to shift in for a save.
Almost definitely. This AWP, I think, is within relatively retrievable position with the timer running where it was. He's obviously going to need to clean and clear as best he can, and that smoke will allow him to get over. So nobody actually tightly maintaining control of that will be a pretty hefty investment they no longer have to make. They could have if they so pleased, but seeing as we're still relatively early days in this first half, that's pretty good.
You know, can I have a quick nitpick about the map in its current state?
Sure.
I absolutely despised that they removed the angle near T-spawn that let you have that, you know what I'm talking about, the headshot angle all the way down into Ivy? It was so niche.
I don't remember.
Like to the left here, you go up, you see this gap between those two trains up there. There used to be like a rail you could jump on. Right behind Zebi. Pretty much right behind Zebi.
I don't remember. I think I know you're talking. You can get on the train.
Yeah.
You can get on the back ends of the train. Like there's like a little lip you could jump up on. I think that emulates something
something
similar.
Jump up on that.
No, you can.
I don't think you can. Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of redundant, I think. I'm pretty sure you're still exposed, but it's like an off angle.
Oh, yeah, no. This one was a headshot angle.
Yeah, I don't think it's a headshot angle, but I could be mistaken on that too. But you can get on it.
It's
Furia.
niche.
Oh, wait. He's in a place where he can just sit for like the rest of the round, and if he doesn't get a kill, no worries. But if he gets a kill, it just makes it all the sweeter. But how do you even judge being able to go deeper into that and how they could be playing off of that? As Arden now is, I mean, obviously she could be chilling, and Furia gets a tap out. They're still going to be anticipatory of another peek from the green side of, inner halls. I thought that he might have had another, but too quick is Zebi on the refrag.
It's a hard angle to get a multi from, man, especially when you're being pinned down by the op. Period! Never laughed, but suspicious as ever. RDN clears every little nook and cranny. Dangles that advantage in front of their face. Now they're just going to come scaling out through the smokes and hope for the best. So far, working wonders as it's 1v3. Molson caught with an 8 out. And the Sharks string something together, get the op back for their trusty young star in Nyx, who's been having an okay game so far. This is where you're really going to get the shine, man. I mean, you're getting into the depth of the CT side. You're getting an op every round.
They miscommunicated a little bit there. Both players pulling utility for Z. One a molly and the other is a smoke. So that's not only wasted utility, but wasted time into which the CTs can do whatever they so please to get into a better spot to try and make the retake happen. So see what they have cooking now as they lose out a consecutive couple. Not exactly in the place we once anticipated them to be, given their lead, but still time to wait until their investment comes back in full swing. So the Deagles are just going to be a little bit of a for fun moment. They know that they've gotten themselves built up enough. A couple extra $100 from the loss that's been built is going to be inconsequential, other than a PC utility here and there. Zebi can get his, and he and Nyx are soon to clash once more. Set to duel on a map that historically is the map that makes for the most opportunity and potential, I would even say. Historically, you could have ripped 2 ops on this map on T side.
Oh, yeah. T side?
Yeah, some people were doing 3 at times.
Oh my, what?
Yeah, Hetty and K and G were ripping doubles. Chris J and Oscar were ripping doubles. Cold Zera and Fallen, I'm pretty sure, at a point. Maybe it was Taco and Fallen, but people were ripping it like no tomorrow.
My memory is horrid, so.
I remember they did it in the major final, I think, Immortals.
Look at this from Fluxo, man. Like, they refuse to say die, and they have continually made multiple ways to get out into this A site. Now it's Art lurking around the E-box, spotted, but dinked and no cigar. And now he's just going to play his life at this point, hope his teammates can do the rest for him. But Doc's just done all the work for the Sharks. 2 kills. Adding on with the nade on Art, everything is going swimmingly in the conclusion. Zevi was an inch away from pulling it back to, again, even Stevens, but what can Molzen think to do when the bomb is in the depths of 3 CTs?
Get a lucky little timing on a player back Ivy, maybe, and Gafolo, I mean, he might give them that lucky timing if he's just a split second off the jiggle. So he goes a little wider than a jiggle. Gives up Molzen's position at very least, though, and now having bomb control, they can play for that with full confidence. Knowing full well he's got to cross that left side in the next 10 seconds or so. If he wants to go wrapping around, it'll take longer than even that. And Koala, he knows it's on a timer, and soon he'll turn to his side, I believe. I'm awaiting that moment. Oh, no, he's tucked? Ooh, it actually does feel a little isolated.
Yeah. I mean, it's isolated, sure, but it's so hard to get that back, right? Because look where the bomb is and all of that. It's either A, you start sprinting around, they get a quick crossfire going, or B, you have 2 isolated duels, sure, but you have to walk into them with 20 seconds on the other side of the site with so many angles to clear. So I think Sharks played that pretty well.
Yeah, I think they played it fine enough.
I'll take that at this point. Going back to an eco, Fluxo's money has not really been great.
No. It was great, then it was bad, then it was great, then it was bad. So at least at these little off rounds in between, they've been able to, get that cash re-injected. Is this map CT or T-sided nowadays? It used to be T-sided, and I'm pretty sure... What?
You talk about old train?
Rush A, dude. Bomb flashes over A, smoke molly. Was it?
Yes!
Or am I thinking the flip? It was
Cobble, maybe?
All I know is that it was once one way, and then now it's another. So maybe I'm...
It used to be CT-sided. It used to be very CT-sided.
Oh, now it's much more tight. I just looked at okay. Yeah, it was CT-sided. You're
again,
right,
maybe Cobble you were thinking? Cobble used to be T-sided out the wazoo.
Is that it? Yeah. I remember there was one map that was just like... As far as, CT-sided maps go that aren't Nuke, I remember one map being like that. God, I hated Cobble, but I also loved Cobble. Yeah. Now I remember that you can just bomb mollies and train. Because now I also forget the fact that we have the opportunity to blow open smokes with HEs now.
I do think that's a big game changer, too.
It's absolutely a big... For this map in particular, too? I do it on Ivy all the time, man, and it's so successful.
I mean, it almost feels like nowadays you don't even want to bother going toward Ivy. You didn't do that too much in the past, but here you can already see Fluxo's interest is better laid in the A side of Pyria. Close, but can't seem to lock anything more than just the one down. A quick trade. And Fluxo continue creeping out. They've left Zevi in a very awkward spot near Olaf, if you still even call that, with Kai finding another kill on the other side of the map, and trades continuing to come through from nowhere.
They got to walk into B, and they got to do it now. There's one player who can rotate relatively quickly in Koala, and he'll hear the footstep, I believe, at the bottom side now as Art tosses a molly. He gets his gun out in the moment that he needs to as he strikes for damage. His teammate will finish the job, and now Nix and Gafolo with a little bit of a question mark as to how soon they'd like to flush themselves out from A and in towards a retake, if at all. This next round's the last. Their money is great. There's no reason for them not to, and Molzen might have gotten the snap, but at least Gafolo given cover. That doorway will hide him, but as a re-engagement comes in, it's the Knicks AWP that's left saying, I guess I've got to bow out from that, seeing as the captain's been called. Downed, brought the flag to the house, and let them know. And the last of them soon actually to be figured by Kai, who had a fat double kill earlier in the half, but he doesn't turn to his left at all, and he gets in the ladder. What the H?
My God. I don't even entirely know how the op is supposed to have a ton of impact on this map, because before, just by existing on A, you controlled and demanded so much. That's why things became so quick, rush, util heavy, at least my theory as to why it happened on the old train, because you could have the op in 7 different angles that could all get multi-kills and easily get out. But now with the angles a little more limited for defending, things like Olaf, things like A-Main, like Pop Dog, I'm not entirely sure where you'd put that op. You don't have as easy vision toward... Hey. Maybe he's thinking about that too. Maybe he's taking a long, hard pause. But you get what I'm pointing out here, right?
I think I know what you're riffing at, yeah.
It's way harder nowadays, I think, especially when you're playing that op toward the A side.
I sometimes can't tell with what to do on an AWP on this map when given chances. And an upper swing never hurt nobody. There's a nice little angle I like to take on a setup strat that I call towards bottom side ramp, where you have the one player with the op walk it up, hold for the cross towards pop, and another player at the bottom end's holding a molly for your fall away after shot in case they're close. So there are a couple little gimmicks you can definitely utilize, but I don't think this is very gimmicky at all from the CTs as it started, and they're going to let B be pretty quick to an opening if they'd so pleased to walk down it. Fluxo would have free real estate once more, with Koala considerably deepened to where one smoke would have done him in. Realizes that might have been, in the first 20 seconds, a good call. Changes his stance on that as we enter the mid-round, if you will.
Molson trying to have his own impact toward B. That was his opportunity. He has to take this fight at this point. You're stuck here, right? You've got that low angle. Wait, no, they actually dealt with Koala. I thought he could have easily come through for the layup, but no. I mean, him just being alive, top heaven, just gives all of this over to Kai. And he has been masterful at routing around CT spawn. Look at this. RDN's going to get 2 trades back, but it's a thorn in their side. They're not going to clear this, or maybe they will. The spin around from Doc. Kai cooked it a little too long. Now Art and Pyria have to answer the call in a 2-on-4 Gofolo, still holding the flank, and there's no way you're locking that down. Crazy off angle, and it's the IGLOS to do it all again. We saw it on the pistol, but that one a little less weaponry. And of course, it's Knicks to close out a half in a pretty strong comeback after being down 5-0 from the Sharks.
Down, I keep it on track. It's the same day with no problems. I keep rising from the bottom, cause when the sun comes up and I look around, I can feel that love, I can hear that sound. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now, and then I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems. Yes, every day was a war. Yeah, it kinda took a while. When they tell me I should stay, I just jump with a smile. Yeah, it's hard until you notice. Everybody's got their moment. When the sun comes up and I look around, I can feel that love, I can hear the sound. Listen up. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now, and then I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems. Cause I got no problems. Cause I got no problems. Do you feel a little down? Say it. No problems. Let you in, but you out. Sing it. No problems. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now. Have none I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. They're never gonna hold me down. I'm higher than the ceiling now, and none I need to worry about, cause I got no problems. I know it's gonna be alright. It's getting better every time. Nobody's gonna kill my vibe, cause I got no problems. You feel like something new. You feel like something. You feel like something new. You feel like something. Don't just stop it.
This train has left the station. We enter the second half, and it's Fluxo and it's Sharks, both with 6 rounds, and both with at least 6 more to go before overtime at bare minimum. We've got pop out into A little bit quicker with pace than we had seen from Fluxo in the last. It's Sharks who send Doc on his mission, and a shot through the smoke and a shot in the dark. A stray will somehow catch Kai. It looked to be that he was a bit off the mark in the money, but that will send the rest of the Sharks back into action, but call the Fluxo players over, and only moles in for one.
What? I don't think Ufolo saw that. He didn't react like it, or maybe he did. He was just calling for reinforcement, man. He said batten down the hatches. We are not giving him a 1v1, and it's wise. Art on pistols, not a man you want to toy with. Rotation should be quick enough to meet them head on. Spearhead this defense, but Pyria, 3 HP? Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's out of there. Or maybe not. Maybe he wants this. He doesn't have armor, so at this point, I mean, it's kind of just like, whatever. Oh, that's not whatever. That's actually pretty impressive onto the first. And another one through the ladder. It's barely any vision, but still giving himself a chance into this one and not cutting himself short of what could be one of the better clutches we've seen, maybe even in this season. But given that 3 HP, he was a walking dead man, it felt like, to crumble at any point in time. And the Sharks still sneeze on him, and he'll eventually collapse. So, too, will that lead that Fluxo once held so dominantly over the heads of the Sharks, now it's theirs.
You know, I don't mean to be that actually guy, but it wasn't Doc Stray that got that first kill through the smoke, which is why that was so interesting. It was a molly. They had a molly someone in
Doc
that
threw
I
a
missed.
molly behind him. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was like some lineup they did to molly off Howl, which would be honestly a really cool pistol strat, right?
I think he just ran it and I just think he just whipped it.
What the?
On his way out.
Wait, whoa. Is that a thing? Did you not see that?
I didn't hear you. You cut out for me. What'd you say?
He just mollied ladder from T-Con.
Yeah.
That was sick.
I can do that and E-Box together from inside Brown Hall. Isn't that
Like,
cool?
this is what tells you how little Train is played nowadays.
True and real. Real and true. I found that molly when the map came out, and I could never recreate it in a match, so I stopped throwing it. Like, I was like, oh my god, this is awesome! But then every time I threw it, it would, like, bounce back into T-Con. I was like, dude, the risk versus the reward of me just flubbing it and killing our rounds chances is just not high enough.
No, you gotta do it.
Oh, look at that smoke. It's volumetric. Extends over the top side of Yellow Train. That's something interesting as well. Not allowing Fluxo to get into any cheeky spaces and allowing Doc the way through to try and find his triple. Stolen by Nyx, but it's a round secured. As a result, all 5 still stand. And maybe Koala wants a bit more of that cash.
Why not? Are you that kind of guy that gets bored, goes into like a offline map and just starts learning the most niche smoke that you'll never use, like ever?
Yes, I am. Not consistently. It's not like a regular thing that I do when I'm bored, but like
every now and again.
Every now and again, yeah, I do that. The other day I came up with a way to smoke long from outside A main on Ancient.
Dude, I was trying to from like what I can't. Why
like
can't I
T-spawn
not
practically
for it on cache?
I found so many of those. Oh, I found so many funny smokes.
Dude, I saw those windows and like my eyes lit up like a slot machine. I was trying to find ways to like smoke off. Dude, why can I not remember cache calls? Oh my god, holy.
Dude, I can smoke top of highway from like spawn, and it almost won me like 3 rounds of a tournament. It was really
I remember
cool.
I used to have like outside B a smoke that would go, I think, in mid or Z.
And in Go, I don't know how Skybox worked on Cash and Go, so it's possible, I guess.
I think it was pretty open. I remember there was a limit. I just can't remember where it was. But I remember I had something crazy that he used like once in every 2 like years.
Speaking of limits, though, these 2 teams have financial caps put on what they're willing to put forth in round number 16. Number 16? Number 15. I can count. And seeing as they have an SMG on both pockets, AKs and Galils scattered from Sharks and M4A1Ss for Fluxo, it's about as even as it could possibly have gotten to this stage in the game where Fluxo need to turn it with even just a slight edge over them.
Lot of patience right now, and I think this is going to
3
benefit
Ivy.
Fluxo in the long run. I mean, there's so much utility left to go here, and it's not like this is an unwatched asset right now. The Sharks, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to end. There's still 3 toward A. They are still investigating B. They know it's coming. Good flash. Good idea. And I'm surprised both parties come away unscathed. Again, that's going to be another thing that benefits Fluxo, even though it's a waste of one of their few pieces of utility left. Look at the time right now. That's going to be their biggest enemy. Great one back, though, from RDN to finally kick things off. 30 seconds. And Gafolo walks through a smoke. Not exactly optimal, and now they're stuck all pathing in from Ivy. They've got a molly, but do they have time to wait for it to spread? Well, no, not if it misses, and now they're pincered in. They're trapped. How do you get out of this? I don't think it's possible, to be quite frank with you. They've got 3 players all staring down the barrel of this nade swing in. Flash has finally come out, but it's too far too late.
Molzen's played his life here phenomenally, even if he won't get another kill. It's the Kraken towards center site that's actually the biggest of them. He wasn't to be activated until after all that had transpired, and I believe it might have been Pyria, whoever the rifle was on the top side of Bomb Train. He needed to be the one to have a little bit of a difference knowing they were boxed in, but no kill means Molzen's dead to rights for the rest of them to flood, knowing his position locked down, and Art also previously made known, and MP9 at that distance was never going to be a success story. But even still, a little bit of a gamble play from Sharks at the later stages of the round with barely any time to plant. It pans out.
You can let that one ride off for now. I think they even overbought by accident, but against a purchase like this shouldn't really be that big of a deal. You've just got nades exchanged in upper, Art sitting here in lower with the SMG, just waiting. And Fluxo try to take the fight to them with some of these angles. The dualies up close and personal toward Olaf. But again, it's a lot of silence reigning supreme over the server right now. And a smoke even waited to refresh on T-Con. Continues to help out the likes of Fluxo, at least in that sense. But a lot of reliance put on this 2-man crossfire in lower, in which right now, it's read well. Info being given. That molly confirms you know somebody is here. They have no flashes to go back in and take the fight on their own 2 terms. But looks like Doc may get impatient with that as well. They could go anywhere right now. I don't even know if they're entirely convinced, but eventually they're going to bite the bullet and peek into Art. I just don't know how successful this SMG is going to be. Head peeks up. Art gets one, doubles up with it. I'm surprised nobody's coming to clear out. That's a lot of time given and a couple of kills.
They still reset. They still have 45. They could commit or they could run it back, but one or the other, they need to go in full on. They can't leave a single player on any other extremity for longer than maybe a couple of seconds to hold. But here's Molzen. He's going to try and lock them down. If they do commit to B, he's going to be very fast to them. A duel to where backs are likely to be turned just the same. And Koala looks for it, but he's looking lower. He'll still see him in his peripherals, but it's a matter of adjustment before Molzen can catch his. Turns about face. Utility's been sent and spread, but this is the dualies at a medium distance to which Molzen uses to perfection and forces their hand in through, but RDN is not near enough by. That's the round.
And they're even going to go and take the extra AK out of their hands, too. It's not like RDN's going to get away with that. And you know what's weird? Looking at this round, I feel like a quick and easy cop-out could be to mention the time, but I think the biggest ordeal is the lack of trading and Art down lower. I mean, Pyria quickly vacated. They spotted him, they shot him off. It was just Art. You see him get 2 kills, and then everybody else almost ignoring the fact that he was there. I mean, that's what really put it over the line for Fluxo.
I think the idea from the rest of them after that was that they wanted.
Well, it's a quick play in response to the Sharks maybe trying to change the pace with the off on Nyx, almost going in for the first pick.
Go back.
Couple of shots exchanged, but nothing lands for the side of the Sharks.
Going to say was that I think they were trying to feign the fact that they were going to rotate back to A, but the second player dying kind of put a strain on that. I don't think that they expected Art to get the double kill as it was, and their options from then onwards are just to walk out A try, which is not wise. What they did just took a little too long. That was put on the rest of the CTs with an advantage, right? Like, Molzen can take full liberties in doing as he pleases, but here it is, another moment, goes untraded, Pyria kill, Art damage in, and the AWP misses its mark. Nyx still holds, and Art reaggresses inside of his own incendiary and loses his head, his shoulders, knees, and toes. And I think that this is still going to be a possible round victory, but they need to displace Molzen's crosshair above all else, and they do it! They do it with all 3 on a hip and a hop, a jump and a stomp. There's still one made known from earlier on. It's Pyria who holds the line and does it well. Everyone gets a piece of the action.
Okay, even though it doesn't work, I'm very happy it happened because that's hilarious to see. That was really funny. Oh, man. No, I mean, if you're the Sharks, it's just a tough spot to be in. Really, what are you going to do in a 3-on-4? Again, with how limited some of these... I mean, already it felt like some of those angles were limited toward B if you were a T. But now maybe even more so.
And you're an F, dude.
Heaven is... All right, man. That's just... all right, dude. I'm going to cry. Go ahead, man.
Yeah,
you got it.
my round.
Yeah. You just bully your co-commentator off the mic for a round you want to cast.
Yeah. That's a good strategy I might employ at some deeper time, but 9 Sharks, 9 F Sharks. They have not really a whole lot going into this one as far as a thought process would go. I mean, you've got Glocks. What else are you really going to conjure up out of it? You need your AKs, so you need every cent and every penny. They're hoping that somebody goes on a little bit of a recon deeper in towards T-Con itself, in which Molzen will eventually see them run through. The movement is a little bit scattered and askew, but Kai will be more than happy to claim a 4K with the HE that landed to their toes. That was the most exciting round of Counter-Strike I've ever had the pleasure of commentating, and I'm glad that I forced you out of it.
So we're just lying now.
Don't know what you're talking about.
He's tight, man. Again, with so much on the line for either one of these teams, considering both of them are currently tied at 14 wins in ECL, whoever comes out of these two maps, even though I think technically Solid haven't played as many as them, I don't think Solid play today. No, they do. Okay, they do play. But the point is, right, first place is up for grabs. Like, I don't know. This is awesome to see. It's just awesome. I'm loving everything about it.
I mean,
this.
South American
Maybe
Counter-Strike is just so competitive, man. It's such a good spot right now, in my opinion. It's in a good spot to where I feel like almost every team is like either one move or one good breakout LAN event showing away from being there, from being ready.
Yeah.
I mean, Pain did it. 9Z before them, although, you know, obviously having been picked apart a little bit since that point in time. But, like, these are the kinds of rosters that get those chances and really make good off of them. I want to see more of that, and this execution into sight with Sharks not really having much of anything for a post plant. They're stalled out.
They're coming from a flank right now. I mean, they're stalled out short, but that was the idea. Fluxo wasted so much of their utility to stop the aggression. It almost feels like the Sharks ripped this out of Fluxo's book coming into the second half. Now they're going to be the ones to counter it. Everything going swimmingly for Fluxo.
I meant that Sharks were the ones who were stagnating. It's absolutely insane. They kind of just sat. I can't believe you can't just sit at E-Box when you have one smoke and one flash left like that. That was like 10 seconds of just jiggling, hoping someone gives them a fight through the deep camera utility.
That, and literally everybody was there for the Sharks, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you were holding for a flank. It's not like you were understanding they weren't going to push. I mean, so far, Fluxo, I don't think they've been too crazy about doing that. But even so, right? Full rifle. You have all 5 on site stalling out. You can't. No, you can't do that.
Unfortunately. There's Nyx already having been swept aside to where double digits is soon to provide another to go along with it. A deepened range. It's Pyria with quite the eye. He decimates Koala. Leaves him flattened and floored and leaves this one all the easier to just collect on train for Fluxo in this next rifle round converted if they can manage to do so, because then Sharks are on the Brokeback buy once more. A mountain they've had to climb too many an instance, and here comes Molzen on a slight off angle to which Arden Zhao has one of his own. He gets one up on him, actually. He can at least get a gun to try and dish out some more damage.
I mean, this is the angle, or this is the kind of round that you can be, like, just jiggling for 10, 20 seconds.
Now you can.
Now you can. Ooh! No, wow, I'm actually a little surprised Art wasn't gray screened there.
Art sees all.
He's having a crazy game, by the way. Like, even though you can knock off a couple of kills if you're excluding the first pistol, like, considering how things ended yesterday, where it felt like he was a very negligible piece.
Sure.
It's very good to, again, have him on a map that Fluxo don't have a ton of reps on as of late. And in a spot like where you currently are. That's the point I was trying to hit on earlier, and he's not done, right? They know he's playing with a hot hand. Up ladder he goes. Pop now, but I don't don't know how well that's going to work out for them. It looks like they're exchanging blows. They're both going bar for bar, and they don't actually clear out Molson, so he gets a freebie, and they know a second's crept down into the A site. That's something calmed over. How do you deal with it? Well, eating a couple of ticks to a molly isn't going to help your case, but he's got the utility to deal with it. This is an awkward round, though. Fluxo, it doesn't even feel like they really know how to navigate this, let alone the Sharks.
Up close and personal, Zevi had a glimpse of what could have been something beautiful, but not being able to hit that shot makes it all the more difficult. Now Piria's got to get back in. Now he's got to battle forward. The smoke will subside, and Nick's got the line. I think it was a 1v3 earlier in the half, the beginning actually, on round 1, to where Piria had no HP to justify it. They have rounds that he could try and say to go for this one. I mean, their money is nearing 16K. It's almost capped, so give it your best shot and dish out a little bit of financial woe while you're at it. I think he's seen the gun barrel. If he didn't before, he does now. The bomb planer can't get off of it, but oh no, he does! Gafolo barely able to escape his jaws of defeat. He might have just done this. The upper around red! How has Nick's gotten this so very tight on the hold to back sight? It was Piria who had everything gifted to him on a silver platter. It's fate that intervenes.
It almost felt like they were oblivious to the idea of him going the other side of the bomb train. They were both so poised, so headstrong on the fact that he was going to peek up top or the same angle. And yeah, that's...
Piria was due.
That's a timeout. I mean, that's such a huge
He broke my
sign.
voice. I just couldn't believe... I actually genuinely couldn't believe that he got that last kill.
It's so nuts, right? I was going to say that last kill is
clotheslines,
honestly, I think,
bro.
the most impressive of the three. That's the Piria you love seeing. That's the Piria you get scared to go against, man. He just has flashes of rounds like that. It's what makes him such a scary player. Like, sometimes he's, it's an average game. It's not like he's been underperforming this match. He's been doing his job. He's been playing fine. He's not been an anchor by any stretch. But every now and again, or in the middle of nowhere, you're just going to see pop, something like that.
I think it makes me the most, I don't know what the word would be, but I think the fact that Zevi isn't playing great and really hasn't been playing like lights out in the games that we've seen, and they're still winning them like this, that scares me for everyone else up against them when Zevi decides that he's had enough.
Oh my god, well, you speak of Piria, he's playing with a hot hand again. He went all the way into upper and almost got a couple of heads to peek around him. He is not the guy to be toying with right now after the previous rounds. They slow it down and look to reroute still to that B site, at least temporarily. No, wrapping around to A. Good kill, gives them leeway. But only temporarily as Kai finds a quick trade, and now it seems they've been lured into an A-site attack, which is currently well defended.
Kai at a distance holds his nerve for only so long. When he wants to peek out, Gafolo, he'll catch him pretty cleanly. Zevi's got this up, and he needs to start having the impact. He needs to start being able to swing into these more comfortably, and Molson realizes something's a little fishy about this angle. Damage inflicted on the Knicks even deeper. They're both in the red, and an HE for Piria, but he's over on the B site. But it's Zevi who's got a line held tight just as well, and Gafolo, the man before, who once again now needs to at least try to be a part of this. He's fumbled the 1v3 prior with no real issue to his own, but in his own right needs to pull a clutch back to keep his team in train and in map 1 of 2 and the best of 3. And although Piria makes a little bit of a mockery out of him for the first few shots, it's a map. Nonetheless, it's Fluxo. They'll take it.
I mean, again, there's so many things that you could have said arguably for Fluxo's case in this specific map, but honestly, this was just a full team affair. Everybody playing lights out from Fluxo. So many different big individual moments. Obviously,